But I'm sure, from what I hear of your conference, there's been no temptation to escape at all, because it's been so good and so exciting. And it's a huge privilege and an honour to have been invited just to share some thoughts with you. And beside the road as he spun along, he spots an elderly gentleman, tidy, respectable, unremarkable, but very cold. And being a young man not wholly devoid of Christian sympathy and charity, he stops and offers the gentleman a lift. Conversation breaks out. Where are you headed? Where have you come from? Not much of a clear answer to the first question, and a slightly vague allusion to the Isle of Wight in the second. Oh, says the young man, who was rather naive. Have you been on holiday? And the tale came out. The traveller, many years before, had been a soldier. He'd come home one day and found his wife in the arms, shall we say euphemistically, of a friend. A fight had ensued. Violence had taken place, as a result of which the traveller concluded, my wife unfortunately died. He'd not been on the Isle of Wight in the ensuing years on holiday. And it dawned on that delicately nurtured and rather naive young man that he was confined to a small, rusty tin box going at 70 miles an hour with a convicted killer. Be strong, be courageous.
And I am not naive to think that every single one of them that has done the Sycamore Tree course will turn their life around. But you know what? If one does in each course, then we have done something right. My children once asked me, why do you do this? And I said, because where would you have been if you didn't have a supportive mother and father? Where have you been? Where would you have been if you didn't even know your parents? If you've been kicked out of your house at the age of 12 and had to fend for yourself? So let us not judge what they have done. What they have done is wrong. I'm not naive in saying, let's just say, well, let's love you and it's fine. But let's love them and let them understand that in Christ there is forgiveness. In Christ they still have a value. And because they've made a mistake, it doesn't have to define the rest of their lives.
Well, Prison Fellowship in Watton is 840 sex offenders, only sex offenders. So we have a very specific role. And we have a tiny prison fellowship group that support us from Grantham.